Script: On a sunny afternoon, June 17, 2026, Rebecca Mason, a 28-year-old elementary school teacher, vanished without a trace. She was last seen leaving her home in a quiet neighborhood in Springfield, Colorado. The sun shone brightly, masking the gathering storm of uncertainty that would soon envelop her family, friends, and the community. In the days leading up to her disappearance, those closest to Rebecca noted her unusual behavior. She seemed distant, lost in thought, as if a heavy burden weighed on her mind. Friends speculated about her mental state. Some said she was overwhelmed by personal and professional pressures, while others wondered if there was something darker lurking beneath the surface. Yet, nothing could prepare them for the unfolding mystery. That day, Rebecca left behind a note that confused her family profoundly. The contents were vague, suggesting she needed time alone to clear her head. It did not provide any real insight into her whereabouts or intentions. Those who knew her were left with more questions than answers. Family members were horrified and immediately contacted the authorities. The police launched a search almost immediately. They scoured local parks and nearby mountain trails, enlisting the help of volunteers to comb through surrounding areas. But as the hours turned into days, no evidence surfaced that pointed to where she might have gone. Days turned into weeks. The local community rallied together to search for her, distributing flyers and holding vigils. Each gathering brought hope, but time took its toll. The search seemed endless. As each day passed without a sign of Rebecca, the sense of urgency began to fade. Her face became a haunting image, plastered on flyers and television screens.
Hopes were high in the beginning, but waned as the reality of her absence settled in. During this time, Rebecca's family received an anonymous phone call. The caller claimed to know her whereabouts. The voice on the other end was distorted, shrouded in secrecy and fear. They said she was alive and well, but needed time away from her life. When the police followed the lead, it led to a dead end. Investigators felt the weight of despair. A chilling silence filled the air, amplifying their frustration. For every piece of new information, another question seemed to arise. With the investigation stalled, detectives began to dig deeper into Rebecca's life. They uncovered her recent online activity. It included messages exchanged with an unknown individual. The nature of these communications hinted at a relationship that had developed in secrecy. Friends told the police that Rebecca had confided in them about her life feeling stifling and trapped. Conversations about wanting to escape from her routine, her job, and perhaps her relationships echoed in the minds of her colleagues. As detectives examined her social media accounts, they discovered that Rebecca had been researching remote locations and travel destinations. Websites about tropical islands, hiking trails, and distant towns filled her browsing history. Was this a simple desire for freedom, or did it indicate something darker? The investigators struggled to discern whether her online behaviors were innocuous or if they held deeper significance. Was Rebecca seeking a new life, or was she in danger? The case took another unsettling turn when local authorities learned of a recent sighting of a woman resembling Rebecca at a gas station miles away from her home shortly after her disappearance. A witness reported seeing her, describing the woman as agitated and in a hurry, but the reliability of the sighting remained uncertain. The investigators' hopes surged briefly at the news. They questioned whether this could be their first significant lead. Yet the lack of concrete evidence continued to frustrate them. Was the woman at the gas station truly Rebecca, or was this just a cruel coincidence? As months passed, speculation only grew. Some suggested that Rebecca had chosen to start anew, seeking a life away from the pressures and disappointments that had ensnared her. Others, however, feared the haunting possibility of foul play. Theories swirled about her relationship with the mysterious individual she had been communicating with. Who was this person? What role, if any, did they play in her disappearance? Did Rebecca feel threatened, or was she willingly engaging in a risky secret? Then, a breakthrough finally came. A friend of Rebecca's received a text message from an unknown number. It read, "You'll never find her. She's safe. Just leave it alone." The chilling message sent shockwaves through her network of friends and family. How could someone claim that she was safe while they grappled with the reality of her absence? This message was quickly forwarded to the police, further complicating the investigation. The cryptic nature of the text raised more questions than it answered. Who sent it? What did they know? And why were they warning her friends to leave it alone? However, Tracing the number proved fruitless. Investigators found that the caller had taken precautions to remain anonymous. Each attempt to identify the sender brought the detectives back to square one.
As they delved deeper into Rebecca's online presence, they uncovered subtle clues that painted a picture of her mental state prior to her disappearance. The online persona she cultivated seemed at odds with those who knew her in real life. Friends began to recall conversations that suggested a growing discontent. They remembered her expressing feeling trapped within her daily routines, her job, and even her friendships. She longed for adventure, for a life less ordinary. Was it possible that these feelings had driven her to take drastic actions? As new theories emerged, the once tight-knit community found themselves divided. Some felt Rebecca had simply chosen a new path, while others feared that her disappearance was more sinister in nature. As the investigation remained open, the case grew colder with each passing day. The local media continued to cover Rebecca's story, reminding the community that she was still missing. Each article stirred emotions and reignited hopes. But as time moved on, the harsh reality lingered. What truly happened to Rebecca Mason? Did she seek a new life? Or is there a more sinister truth hidden in the shadows? The unanswered questions loomed large, casting a pall over her loved ones. Pictures of Rebecca remained on flyers, billboards, and social media pages. Her family continued to search for answers. They hired private investigators and reached out to online groups dedicated to solving missing persons cases. But each step felt like walking through fog, with clarity always just out of reach. Friends gathered regularly to remember Rebecca, sharing memories and discussing possibilities. In their hearts, they clung to the hope that she would return, that the mystery would finally be unraveled.
While the police continued to sift through tips and leads, the investigation seemed to stall. As months turned into years, Rebecca's case became a painful memory for many. Yet, her family refused to accept that she was gone. They held on to the belief that somewhere, Rebecca was still fighting to be found. The darkness surrounding her disappearance haunted them, and the questions never ceased. What happened on that sunny afternoon in June? What made Rebecca leave her life behind? The questions echoed, unanswered. As her family continues to search for answers, one question remains: will Rebecca ever be found? The story of Rebecca Mason is not just a tale of loss, it is a haunting reminder of the fragility of life and the mysteries that often remain unsolved. In the end, the truth may lie buried in the shadows, waiting for someone brave enough to confront it. As we reflect on this case, we invite you to consider the profound complexity of human emotion and the lengths to which one may go to escape their circumstances. If you enjoyed this investigation, subscribe for more real mystery stories.